It was a game changer for campaigns when the Supreme Court ruled that corporations could spend unlimited amounts of money on elections. Now, two Democrats are fighting to change the Constitution and try to put a stop to this. Congresswoman Donna Edwards introduced the bill in the House. Congresswoman, good morning. What's your biggest concern about how this is affecting campaigns?
Well, thank you, Chris. I mean, the biggest concern is that it really is distorting our politics. People don't even know who's running what ads. Corporations have the ability to spend unlimited amounts of money on campaigns because the Supreme Court has allowed it. And most people, in fact, 77% of Americans don't think that corporations have too much power, and 82% of Americans think we ought to do something about it. And that's why I've introduced this constitutional amendment.
So explain to people what's involved. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, even who think it's a good idea, but say it's a little bit unrealistic to think you can get a constitutional amendment. It's a pretty high bar to set for yourself.
I don't agree with that at all. I've introduced, along with John Conyers, House Joint Resolution 78 that would amend the Constitution to allow Congress the authority to regulate corporate spending and campaigns. And, I came in and talked with John Dingell, who came into Congress in 1954 working on health care, and so it took until then to pass the Affordable Care Act last year. I think that we can put in the time to pass a constitutional amendment that actually is going to make a difference in the way that we relate to our politics and conduct elections. I mean, it is ridiculous that corporations have so much power. They influence policy and politics, and it's really getting in the way of ordinary Americans being able to take the time to elect those whom they choose and who aren't just chosen by corporations and special interests. And so I'm, and I'm with the majority of the American people who actually believe that we need to make a change. And I think some have said that the founding fathers would just be absolutely appalled. They're probably rolling over right now in their graves at the way that elections are conducted in this country. It's just too much money, and it's really having a negative impact on our ability to participate in our own elections and politics.
Let me ask you about the presidential election, because President Obama was very fired up this weekend when he talked to the Congressional Black Caucus. Let me play a little clip for you.
Take off your bedroom slippers. Put on your marching shoes. Shake it off. Stop complaining. Stop grumbling. Stop crying. We are going to press on. We've got work to do.
That stop complaining, stop grumbling, Maxine Waters called that curious. She said he'd never talked to a Latino or gay group that way. I wonder what your reaction was when you heard that.
Well, you know what? I was like most of the crowd there, incredibly enthusiastic by the fighting spirit that the president was showing. And I actually went in to talk to a group of seniors the following day. And when I said to them, it's time for us to stop complaining and to press on, they lit up the room just like the room in the Congressional Black Caucus. I think the president is right on message. I think we have work to do. I think it's incredibly clear the difference, like night and day, between the Republicans who want to give special breaks to the wealthiest in this country and the President of the United States. And it's important to re-elect him because we have to really get this country back, preserve and protect Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, make sure that people are fully employed and have jobs where they can compete in the 21st century. The president was on that message, and we're going to be on that message, too, for 2012.
Congresswoman Donna Edwards, it's good to see you. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
It was a no cameras welcome.